This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo. Brought to you by Advanced Rehab, Urgent Med 1, Boyd's Transmissions, Golf Cart Wholesale, Alan David Tucker, and by Marshside Grill. And now here's your host, Glynn Academy Insider, Drayton Hogarth.
Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Drayton Hogarth on location at Marshside Grill, where we will be each and every week on Sunday nights at 6:30 for the entire season. This segment of the Rocky Hidalgo Show is sponsored by Marshside Grill, Advanced Rehab, Urgent Med 1, Boyd's Transmissions, Golf Cart Wholesale, and by Alan David Tucker. Now joining us, the head coach of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Rocky Hidalgo. Thanks, Coach. Thank goodness football season is here. Once again, and it looks like your team got off to a great start Friday night with a win over McIntosh County Academy, 29-14. What's your takeaway from the scrimmage Friday?
Well, it's good to be here, and it's great when you get through the camp time and you start practicing against somebody else. The biggest thing for me, football season starts when we have a chance to really, when school starts, really, and our kids have a chance to get in a rhythm every day. We know we don't have to chase them around for rides to practice, any of those things. Friday night was good to go out and hit somebody other than guys they've been playing with for the last 3 or 4 years, and overall I think our team competed very well. We ran around on the football field. We made some mistakes, which are expected during a scrimmage, but I was really excited overall with our level of effort and for a big part of our game, our execution.
Okay. Now, tell me, you mentioned mistakes. As a coach, do you kind of prefer to have a couple of mistakes in a scrimmage for teachable moments, or would you rather see it just run like clockwork?
Anytime your football team goes out there and executes and is efficient, that's what you want. I mean, you kind of get into a groove once you get to that point in the season where you're just kind of clicking. That's really where you want to get to, and it usually takes 3 or 4 games to get to that point. So, there's always in a scrimmage, there's going to be some sloppy play. You're going to have some things to correct. It'll be like that for the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm sure. The big thing will be who improves the most between the scrimmage game and the first game of the season, and that's where really all the marbles are going to be for these coaches out here.
Right. Who kind of stood out to you on your offense and defense and special teams?
Well, I think our all-state offensive tackle, Frank Farrell, played very well. Kyle Larson, Kyle's a 3-year starter for us. They did a great job over on the left side. They really did a good job of switching off and comboing up on some different looks that McIntosh was giving us. Obviously, Garrison hurt our backs. Garrison hurt. Jeremiah Anderson played well. I think our quarterback did some really good things. He kind of hung in the pocket a little bit. I think he got over some nerves early and threw a couple of balls, let a couple of balls sail on him, but really stepped in the game, managed the game, and made some nice throws offensively. DJ Dallas and Morris Demery had some nice catches and runs. Those guys are going to be spectacular this year.
Right. Now, you mentioned DJ and Garrison Hurd. How do you kind of fight that urge to feed them the ball constantly, having playmakers like that?
You don't fight the urge. That's, good coaches, that's what they do. They get the good players the ball.
Right.
We go into a game, we feel like we have 3 really good backs, and Garrison, Jeremiah, and Kendall Cross. And so we feel real confident about getting those guys the ball. So we want to leave the game with 40. We want to have 75 plays on offense, and 45 to 50 of those are running plays. So that's we can split those up 20, 25 carries a piece with those guys, and then turn around with our receivers, guys like Morris and DJ and Poppy. We want to get those guys the ball 10. Sometimes somewhere between 5 to 10 times a game. And when you have a talent like DJ, one of the big things offensively you go into a game is how are we going to get DJ the ball in situations where he's going to have it in space and create explosive plays.
Right. This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Now, in a scrimmage situation, are players able to move up and down the depth chart? Or do you kind of take that from camp as a whole?
No, we definitely. We were evaluating a lot of kids and switching guys in and out and trying to look. I think some guys who did some things well, you'll see will play some more ball, play more plays for us. Jace Wilder will be one who did a lot of good things, had a couple of nice catches. I think you'll see Jason in the coming weeks play more for us, and we'll target him more with the football. He's a really good player, has a chance to be a great player for us over the next 2 years. We've got some competition at center between Tommy Craig and Matt Golden. We're trying to figure out who that center is going to be, and then conversely, that plays over into our right guard position with Marcus Maxwell, Matt Golden, and Tommy Craig. So, there's competition there offensively. Defensively, there's a lot of competition. We've got, 3 guys in safety we're looking at plus DJ. We know DJ is capable of playing back there, and we have 3 other guys we feel really good about, and we have really 4 guys at corner that we're working to see who's going to get the minutes there, in addition to some young guys on the defensive line that we're trying to bring along. We feel like have a chance to be spectacular player for us in the future. We really want to get them involved early in the season so they get some game minutes and they're contributors when we reach the region and playoff time.
Right. Now, you mentioned some of the defensive players. Was there anyone else that stood out in particular?
Well, I think our 2 defensive ends were very, very good. I think we have a chance to be spectacular on the defensive line right now. Dexter Roberson and Rodney Blake were exceptional Friday night. And they're going to be hard to handle. They're big, strong, athletic, all those things you want defensive linemen to be. Tyler Cleghorn, who's a sophomore at nose guard, did a great job filling in for Trey Singleton, who's injured right now. We get Trey back. We feel like Trey's a real difference maker. We're going to have 3 spectacular defensive linemen. And then behind those guys, we have Tyler will be able to help us, Jonathan Handy, Devin Roberson, and Tate Griffin. So we feel like we've got about 7 or 8 guys we can rotate in there on the defensive line who can really play ball. Xavier McClinton was spectacular. His first start at middle linebacker. He covered a lot of ground, and I was pleased to see him, the way he ran, but more importantly, how he filled a hole and how physical he was. He tried to knock the taste buds out of people's mouth, and he did it and forced a fumble, and he was just very sudden. And I liked how aggressive we were in the secondary. I think, with what we do in the secondary defensively, we're a match coverage team. We're very aggressive in the secondary, and we need aggressive players back there. Last year, we were a little passive in the secondary, and I think you're going to see a much more aggressive group of kids. We have kids who are physical and back there. They get downhill. They try to make plays on receivers. They're trying to knock the ball out of people's hands and take it away from them.
Right. Good. How about the team on the injury front after the scrimmage? Are we all good there?
Yeah, we're good. We have Preston Joseph, who started with us for his outside linebacker, still recovering from a bicep injury he had wakeboarding this summer. We're hoping to have him back. There's a chance that he might be able to play a little bit versus Wayne this week. But we feel really confident we'll have him back for Brunswick, and he's a kid that played 13 games for us. So, that's one we want to get back. And Trey Singleton, who was starting on the defensive line at nose guard when he was injured in our acclimatization days, he's got a chip bone on his shoulder, and he should be. We're hoping to get him back in the next couple of weeks. And I think when we get those guys back, defensively, we have a chance to be spectacular this year. I mean, I've coached a lot of good defensive teams. This one's got a chance to be really salty. I'm excited about how good we could be defensively.
Awesome. All right. There's more to come on the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
Marshside Grill is your home for the best burgers, spuds, and seafood around. Come enjoy the view out by the water while taking in an ice-cold beverage. Marshside Grill is your home for the Glynn Academy Red Terror Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo and a proud sponsor of Glynn Academy and local high school athletics. So stop in any day or night of the week for the best view and atmosphere here in the Golden Isles. And also, check us out on Facebook. Go Terrors! Tired of waiting hours to get in and out of the ER or can't get in to see your doctor? The wait is over. Urgent Med 1 is a fully functioning urgent care clinic with highly trained professionals, on-site x-ray and labs that will get you in, out, and on with life. Open weekdays 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and weekends 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Or sign in online with ZipPass. Located off exit 36B on Highway 341, look for that MASH Jeep with the big red cross out front, ERGENT Med 1. Drive a few minutes and save a few hours. That back won't stop aching or that knee won't stop throbbing? Your answer is Advanced Rehabilitation and their staff of professionals. Locations in Brunswick and on St. Simons for your convenience. Go to the place that is trusted by student athletes all over the Golden Isles as well as professional athletes. Advanced Rehabilitation specializes in neuro and orthopedics and will have you back in the game in no time. Find a clinic near you, physicaltherapygeorgia.com.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Drayton Hogarth on location from Marshside Grill. This segment is brought to you by Marshside Grill, Urgent Med 1, and Advanced Rehab. Coach, I know this week your team travels over to Jessup to take on the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. What are you expecting from Coach Croom's Wayne County team?
Well, Jody does a great job with his kids. They're big and physical up front. Their lines of scrimmage are very good. And I would dare to say their offense and defensive lines will probably be as good as anybody's will play this year. So that's the first thing. We're going to have to play really well up front. I've seen them on tape. They look like Coke boxes. They've got some big kids up there. So we're going to have to do a great job on the line of scrimmage there, especially their defensive tackles. Do a great job of getting penetration, pressing the offensive line in the backfield and control the line of scrimmage. So, that's a big thing. I know Coach Grooms is going to want to come out and run the ball and throw the ball on the perimeter to his wide receivers and try to pick up some easy yards and force you to play 7 or 8 guys in the box out there and get some one-on matchups on the perimeter. So, that's a big part of what we're going to do. And then they're going to challenge us on the edge. So we're going to have to make plays in the passing game. The good news, I think, is if we can get out there and make those throws and catches, we have an opportunity for some big plays.
Right.
But all those things got to go well. We're going to have to protect the quarterback. They do. They get up the field and they'll get after you with some good players. So it'll be an interesting game. It'll be a lot of fun.
Right. Now, they have a lot of experience returning on their roster too, right?
Yeah, they played 12 games last year. He does a really good job with his kids. I think they return 18 starters. I think all the guys up front on both sides of the ball, 2 really good linebackers. They've got the biggest set of linebackers we'll probably face all year. They average about 235 pounds. They're men in there. So we've got to be ready to go. And we're working up at the second level this week with the offensive line. They got to be prepared to block somebody because they're physical kids. They'll get downhill and they'll sting you with their shoulder pads.
Right. Now, going on the road, do you kind of have a preference of going on the road early, or would you rather be at home to start the season?
I don't care where we play.
Okay.
I don't care.
You're ready to roll?
It doesn't matter. Things like that doesn't matter to me. I don't know where I am in the realm with other coaches. I just want to tell me who we're going to play. We'll get ready to go and go play ball. We got to go 5 hours in Atlanta and play a game. We'll plan on it. We'll prepare the kids for that and go over there and do it. Driving 45 minutes to Jessup. It'll be everything is new for me down here. Last year every game was a new experience. We're playing opposite this year. It was my first time to McIntosh last week. It'll be my first time to Wayne County, so it'll be fun and exciting for me, and hopefully some of that will rub off on the kids.
Right. Now, you mentioned this being your second season, going through your second off season at Glynn. Has your approach changed any from season one? Any processes that you changed, or you look to maintain continuity?
Well, I think really I didn't really envision last year as my first season. It was almost like being an interim coach because the name's so late. Yep. This year we had some staff turnover. Sean Jackson, our offensive coordinator last year, took a head job in Kentucky. He was a very good coach. He did a great job with us. Our kids really loved him. Our offensive line coach, Chase Giddens, he left for an offense coordinator position at Rockmart High School, and Greg Roberts, who was coaching the wide receivers for us, he decided that, we had talked about him coaching a year last year, helping me out get through a year, and he went to go focus on the baseball program at Glynn Academy. So we hired 4 new coaches. So there's been some staff turnover. I really feel like this has been my first year coming in. We spent a lot of time getting a staff together. We hired 4 great coaches. We really feel like we've got a chance to have a great football staff. And hopefully next year we'll pick up a couple more guys. But, it's, for us, it was really about focusing the weight room. I think our football team is bigger and stronger than they were last year. I think that'll translate into us being more physical, and especially later in the season. One of the reasons we lost to Northside is they really control the line of scrimmage on their defensive line, control the offensive line, our offensive line, and they kind of pushed us around this year. This year we're a lot bigger and stronger man per man. I think we'll have a better chance of hunkering down and playing against teams like that when we get the opportunity.
Okay. You're listening to the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Coach, one thing I noticed new this season is new uniforms for your squad. How did that change go about, and how have the kids responded to the new unis?
Yeah, we bought them. No, it's the kids were excited. We had we basically went through and I let them go through, and I set out some different styles of uniforms: Adidas, Russell, Nike, and I covered up the logos on them. And had them pick which ones they liked best. And, it's the kids, if they see the Nike swoosh, they all choose the Nike swoosh. But it was interesting, the kids all voted for Russell. I lied to them a little bit. I had 5 sets of jerseys, and I told them two of them were Nikes. One of them was Russell, and 2 were Adidas, I think. And actually, it was 2 Russells, and they about a third of the kids voted for the Russell uniform that we have. Looks great. We're very fortunate the county came through with some money for both us and for Brunswick.
Right.
Bought new uniforms. I think Friday night we'll unveil our new helmets. And some folks probably have seen them on Twitter. We went with matte red helmets with chrome face mask and a chrome decal that's going to look sharp underneath the lights. The kids, I'm a big believer if they look good, they play good, they feel good about themselves, they're excited about the new uniforms. We do this for the kids. A lot of people will come up to me and give me suggestions and all those things, but, the guys I listen to about this are those players. I want to try to provide them what they want, and I think we went through a lot of iterations of the uniform, and this is the ones that they really like, most of the kids chose, and so I'm proud that they get a chance to go out there and have some really nice stuff and represent Glynn Academy and Glynn County Schools.
Right. Glynn going to be the new Oregon of the Georgia High School Association.
We keep raising money, baby. I'm the first one. I love that stuff. The kids love that stuff.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, but it's expensive. I mean, a set of uniforms is going to run you about $15,000 to $18,000, and we were very fortunate. We got a great deal from Russell on this, and the provider Pro Sports gave us a great deal on the uniforms, but it's those things are great. I'd love to be able to come in there, and I've heard people, you can't put black in the uniform, you can't do gray or any of those things, but those kids are dying for that. I'd love to go all ghost white with a white helmet one day.
There you go. White out.
So we'll figure something out. We'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Oh yeah. Now I heard you say prior to this season, Coach, you didn't want to shy away from setting big goals for your program. Can you share with us what those goals are for this team this year?
Well, I don't think I had somebody come up to me one time after I was speaking last year and tell me I was pretty cocky. And I don't think anybody ever won a championship by going, man, we're going to try to be 7-4 this year. I don't believe you do that. I think you have to set out at the beginning of the season to go out and win a championship. And if that's not your goal, you won't get there. And my expectations for our kids, I set the expectations for our football program. And if I go into a season saying, hey, this is a rebuilding year, or we lost Zach Lamper, or we lost Cordero Stout, we're not going to be as good, that doesn't play with the kids. And I mean, those kids deserve my best, and frankly, they deserve me to believe in them. And I believe that we have a football team that can win the region championship and compete on the state level with anybody in the state. I'm not going to back down for that. I'm going to go coach my tail. It's on me. I'm going to go coach my tail off and make sure our kids are prepared to do that. They're going to play hard. And the biggest thing is those kids believe that, it becomes who they are. And at the end of the day, I want kids to walk out of our football program being a champion, whether they won one or not. And for me, that's the truth. And this is what it's about. It's about building these kids and teaching them how to be leaders and teach them how to be winners. And a lot of people may look around and say, hey, it's just a game, but it's more than that, because this is what's going to carry a lot of these kids over throughout the next 50 years of their life.
Right. We'll be right back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Need an attorney who specializes in personal injury and criminal law? Alan David Tucker. He fights for the rights of the injured and accused. Located next to the waterfront at 9 St. Andrews Court. Since 1982, Alan David Tucker has been practicing law in the Golden Isles and helped thousands of people just like you solve their legal problems. Give Alan David Tucker a call. Proud supporter of Glynn Academy Athletics, 912-267-7123, and let's go Terrors. Looking to make your life more fun? Then check out GCW Karts. With top-of-the-line karts like Easy Go, Bad Boy, and Cushman, you can cruise the island or just around the neighborhood in style. Need to rent a kart? GCW Rental rents karts for long or short-term use, and they make it easy by delivering your kart to you and picking it up when you're finished. So remember, for brands like E-Z-GO, Bad Boy, and Cushman, visit GCW Carts in Brunswick at the corner of Cypress Mill Road and the Spur, or call 912-434-4601. You've walked your last mile. Boyd's Transmissions will get you riding with a smile. Boyd's Transmissions is your hometown stop for any and all transmission work and much more. Boyd's Transmission has been locally owned and operated for over 30 years right here in Glynn County. Come check us out at 3123 Norwich, right across from the National Guard Armory, 912-264-6768, or find us on Facebook and Go Terrors.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Red Terrors Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Drayton Hogarth on location at Marshside Grill. This segment is brought to you by Golf Cart Wholesale, Boyd's Transmissions, and by Alan David Tucker. Now, Coach, you guys had the great run to at the end of the season last year in the playoffs. How do you build on last season? And is it kind of something that you remind the players of, or do you want to leave the past behind you kind of situation?
Well, you know, for us, I'll be honest with you, it's twofold. The first thing is you want to build a culture of winning there. So that's really important. Our kids had a taste of success, and we hope that whets their appetite and they come back hungry for more. They had a great offseason this year. They worked their tail off. And so I feel like that was the case. The other side is they have to understand, they have to learn to handle success, and that team has gone and graduated. And we have a totally different group of kids here this year. And whatever we did in 2014 was a great season, but it's our time to forge our own legacy now. And so it's a different team, and I think our kids are starting to learn that and understand that, and that, you know, they'll be ready to go this year. I think that's something that we're going to have to learn as a football program, is that success is never final and failure is never fatal.
Right. Now, how does your preparation during the week, if you kind of take us inside the Glynn Academy practice facility, how does it change for a game week compared to a scrimmage or camp situation?
Well, you know, basically, when you get into game week, we'll work 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and with the new contact rules, Monday will be our non-contact day. So Monday is a big teaching day for us. So we want to do a lot with tempo on Monday. We want the kids running around, a ton of running around, tempo and conditioning, but we also want them teaching and learning day. So when we come back Tuesday and Wednesday, we can really focus on getting all the kinks out of the game plan, working our timing and rhythm and our execution. So Tuesday and Wednesday are our contact days. Thursday is a non-contact day for us. It's helmets only practice. We do a mock game, a situational game where we run down and we have specific situations that we run down. It lasts about an hour. And we get off the field and we go home. You know, I don't drag out. To me, on Thursday, the hay's in the barn, as they say. You've done your coaching, whatever you've done, good, bad, or indifferent. You've got a football plan. You got to go out there and work it and make it happen. You know, I think so. And we lift throughout the week, Monday through Thursday. Friday is the day we stretch and ice our kids on Friday. So we do every kid in the program. Every guy's going to play on Friday night. They will do a stretching program, a stretch routine, and they'll do an ice bath on Friday in preparation for the game.
Okay. Now, I've lived in Southeast Georgia my whole life, basically, and I've seen a major surge in just talented high school players. I think this is the most talented this area has seen in my lifetime. Is there anything in particular you can kind of attribute that to, the 7-on-7s and kind of year-round type football, or what do you think?
You know, I think sometimes you just get runs of kids. I mean, I was at Walton High School for 18 years, and we won a lot of games from 2002 through 2011. And that 9-year period, we had a lot of really good players that come through. So you just get those runs of kids where you have talent come through. I think right now in the county, you've got the two kids over at Brunswick High School. They're national recruits. You have DJ Dallas at our place. Zalante Hillary, I think when it's all said and done, will be a national recruit. You've got Garrison Hurd has an Army offer. And then I think, you know, on our squad, we'll end up with 5 or 6 other kids that'll have an opportunity to go off and play college football and be good players. So I think you get those things. I think, you know, the 7-on-7 and all that stuff, those things are great. But at the end of the day, you know, God touches a kid and gives him ability. And you just get those runs of talent in a community. And fortunately, right now, we have some. And hopefully, the really good ones will end up at Glynn Academy.
This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. are you kind of the mindset, letting the kids not basically play year-round football, kind of let them play all the sports, kind of like old school?
Yeah, we do very little in the afternoon after school. I am probably in the minority with the way a lot of coaches run their programs. I think better is better and more is more. I think a lot of guys think more is better. I think more is more. We're going to focus on being efficient and effective with our time. I want my kids going off and playing sports in the winter and spring. I don't want them hanging around up there with me in the weight room or anything like that. If they're not playing another sport, then we'll give them something to do. But really, I encourage them to go play sports. During the summer, we work 3 days a week. We're done by 11:30 every day. I want them to go have a summer and have some time off. And on August 1st, when we come back, I want them working to win football games for the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, and that's all they're focused on. I don't want them burned out on the first day of football season.
Right. Now, as a fan, it seems like it takes forever to football season to get here. How is that from a coach's perspective? Is it the same thing, or is it there not enough time in the day to get all the teaching in?
Football season for coaches really never ends because we run into. You have different seasons. You have obviously football season that begins in late July, and then when that's over with, you run into the recruiting season where you're trying to get your kids signed.
Right.
So at the end of November through December is college recruiting season, and back again after the holiday break up into National Signing Day. And after National Signing Day, those guys are going to go get ready for their spring football, and that's when high school coaches generally, that's when we do our coaching development. We'll go to coaching clinics, we'll visit colleges, we'll spend some time as a staff trying to improve ourselves. That's when I sit down with our coaches, evaluate our coaches, if there are going to be any changes on staff, what I want them to do, how I want them to improve. And then it rolls into spring recruiting. You get into spring football starts toward the end of March with coaches coming back in. Spring football's here and your summer weights. So for high school coaches, there's really no off season. I try to take some time to go away with my family and my wife to take a trip every year so we can get off together and realize we still like each other and all that stuff. But, once you're here, the job is a 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock job for probably 40 weeks a year, really and truly. It is what it is, and it's the lot I've chosen, and we'll live with it.
Wouldn't change a thing, right? And how much football, as a coach, how much football, college or NFL-wise, do you get to watch? Since you're so heavily involved with your own team?
Well, I watch very little NFL football because we work on Sundays. I get in the office. Generally, I try to go to Mass with my family in the morning. On Sunday morning, I try to get in the office by 10 or 10:30. And I don't watch a lot of football on Sundays. Saturdays that's really my day with my family. So My day on Saturday really goes like this: is I wake up, have some coffee, watch the game tape from Friday night, and get that over with, and then I spend the day with whether we go to the beach or we go ride bikes on the island or head over to Jekyll Island. We're going to spend Saturday with that. I will generally make time during that day to watch LSU. I'm a diehard LSU fan. They've got a big game. I'm going to watch that game. And then I'm going to put the family to bed. I'm going to get started on my opponents sometimes late Saturday night with a pot of coffee. And that's the weekend. So I spend some time with my family and hopefully get an LSU game in. There's a lot of times that I don't get to watch that LSU game because, we've got something that my wife is planning for us. But you have to make time for that if you're going to be in this business and be successful.
Right, no doubt. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us for the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Please come out to Marshside Grill and join us every Sunday night at 6:30 for the Rocky Hidalgo Show. This is Drayton Hogarth signing off.